All right, so we have applied CSS basically to our menu, to the title, and then the next thing to do maybe would be the footer elements. Let me pull this up a little bit. There we go. Would be our footer elements here, right? Now I haven't really done anything to these. They don't look terrible as they are, but you can look like, at least this I don't like, okay? Now if I go through and if I try to, using my style sheet here, let's see, go like this, go to my style sheet, and I'll add a section, let's say for the footer, okay? Footer. Okay. And then I'll just use what I know it is, right? So if you remember, I added a theme footer, right? So let's just say we do theme, I think it was dot theme footer, and then we'll just say a link, right? And I go like that. And then I'll just go ahead and say, you know, I want it to be text decoration, and we'll just say none, okay? If I save that, and then I go here, and I refresh it, oh, it worked. Well, now I look like a jerk. Okay. Usually that doesn't work. Okay, well, I didn't think it would. Sometimes what happens is that it's really hard to get to an element. So if you're having a hard time trying to make something not function, or to function the way that you would like, what you can do is this. Actually, let me try. I got a better idea. Let's go ahead and we'll do color. And let's say red, just so you can tell that it's working. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, so if you look, you can see, right, it's not showing up as red. It's being overridden by something, right? And we'll do even the same thing. I'll grab this again. Okay, Control C, Control V, and we'll do visited. Watch this work anyway. And it worked. Great. Okay. So that should work technically, but sometimes it doesn't work. And so what you can do is, if you're trying to get to an element and you're not being able to target it, the easiest way to find how to get to that element and to adjust it is this way. I'm going to show you. So for one, this only works because it's in the footer. If I had this widget somewhere over here, how would I grab that widget if it wasn't in the footer? I'm able to target the footer because I made that theme footer. But if for some reason it was somewhere else, I wouldn't be able to target it. So if I wanted to target something specifically, so we're going to use this as an example, what I could do is right-click over the element and then go to Inspect Element. What it's going to do, and we'll scroll down here, is it's going to highlight it and it's going to show you the actual element and its markup right here. And you can actually see the code that your website is generating from the PHP and the CSS and the HTML and all the stuff that you've been making. You can see all the code that it's creating, okay? And you can do this on any site. Doesn't matter what site you use. Now, I want to be able to target this. So I can see what's applying to it. So I can also see if like my CSS is working, and I could tell that it is for whatever reason. What I can do though is if I right click over top of it, you can go to copy, and then you can go CSS Selector. Now, if you're inside of Chrome, it's a little bit different, but it's basically the same thing. It's just copy selector or something. I don't know, but it's like copy. But I'm gonna do CSS Selector. Okay. Now, when I go back to my code, what I can do is I'm gonna delete that, and I'll hit Control V. Now, what it's gonna do is it's gonna give me a very specific stuff, like all of the very specific CSS selectors, okay? Now, this is this will grab very specifically that one element. I don't really want to do that anyways, because I want it to work on all pages, so I want to grab all of my widget things, right? But what I could do is use some of what it gives me and then make it a little bit broad. I want to make it as broad as possible while still targeting what I've had. So, for instance, I wouldn't have thought to use hashtag widget pages, right? So what I can do, though, is use that as my way of targeting it. So I'll get rid of the extra stuff, and then we'll just do a, and then I'll do a blank link, and then we'll just do the same thing again, but with visited, Control C, Control V, and we'll just change this to visited, right? And then I could put in my colors and elements and things like that, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and add this stuff here, Control C, just going to paste it in here. I'm just going to make it so that the color is just a slightly darker color. Same thing that we did up here. That way, if I change the background color of the footer, it will match regardless, okay? But this will link, and this will basically work on any widget now. So that's one thing that you could also do. And again, I'm just going to copy this beginning part. I also want to remove the list item, so I'm going to grab this. Because if you look, you can see it's got the, oops, let's close this out. It's got the bullet points, so I just want to remove that too. So we're just going to like that, and then LI, and let's just shift tab that. And we're just going to go ahead and do list style type, and we'll do none. All right, and that will remove the bullets. And now if I save it and we refresh it, you're going to see it's going to get rid of that stuff. And now we have that in there, and that looks good. Okay, and I could add other ones for like hover and all that other stuff too, and make it like bullets and stuff. I just want to show you that if you need to get to a specific element, like if I wanted to format this, I could just right click over top of this, go to inspect element, and it's going to bring me right to where it is. Scroll down so you can see. It'll bring me right to where it is, and I can see what it's doing, and then I can also just right click and copy the selector, and then use that in order to create the CSS that's going to target that. But you want to keep it as broad as possible so it'll work in any number of situations. If you make it too specific, it's only going to work on that one page in that one specific spot, and it's not going to be, it's not going to work well dynamically. Okay. But yeah, so we're going to call it the footer. Now, you can use that same process and you would add a lot more in here, right? I'm not going to do a whole bunch because your next project is basically what I'm going to want you to do is just take what we've made and just fill it out more so it's a little bit more robust and it has nicer colors and things like that. But you can just use where we started off. So I don't want to go nuts as far as like CSS. I'll let you do that on your own later. But you can follow basically the same process to apply CSS to all different kinds of things. Okay?